There was one thing I forgot to mention, and that is during these times, you'll feel really inspired to face your own fears, to really notice with more consciousness and awareness than ever where you were trying to escape yourself, where you were trying to go around your fears, where you were looking to the external to kind of save you from having to face your fears. You'll notice more of a willingness being born within you to really feel feelings that used to be too much for you, or that you used to, even unconsciously, without even knowing it, try to suppress and try to go to the external to avoid feeling. You'll notice this willingness and this even inspiration starting to cultivate inside of you, that is, it's like you're even excited to meet the most fearful parts of you, to learn more about those aspects, to really be with those aspects in a more full way. You'll be really excited to meet life head on, to take responsibility for your own life, to go through the things that you used to try to go around and avoid. And so I think that's what's happening with these new earth energies, is that the fear that used to be so big in our system that we would even unconsciously avoid it. We wouldn't even know we were avoiding it. They were that big. We used to be identified with them so fully. We used to think that they were us. That's why we were avoiding them, because it would have been death to who we thought we were. It's like there's so much more awareness now with these new earth energies that are coming online on Gaia, that we're able to see that the fear is not us, or that it's an older aspect of us, and that we've outgrown it. And there's such a willingness to hold space for it, to be with it, to do the things that used to scare us, because there's so much more of you here. There's so much more of who you are as pure awareness, of who you are as a divine being that's here, that you're aware of. It's always been here. It's just that you're more identified as that now in your consciousness, and less identified as the fear programming, as the trauma. So you as a divine being, there's nothing that makes you happier, there's nothing that excites you more than really being with those programs, than being curious about them, than holding space for them. And you as a divine being, you want to be totally free. You want to be totally liberated. So you're really you'll notice you're going to start turning much more towards your fears directly, and seeing what they're all about, and really from a place of curiosity and joy and love, really facing them and moving towards them, and however that looks for you. For me, it's really, showing up for life in a different way. It's really facing myself here on Earth, and all the ways I tried to avoid Earth, and everything about it that I had aversions to, and that it's really about coming into my body, really getting grounded here on Earth, and living an earthly life more fully, becoming more engaged on Earth. I've been really engaged up here, right, for a lot of this awakening process. And now more than ever, it's about coming back into my body, into my avatar, and embracing what's here on Gaia. Something I've always been afraid to really do as fully as I am doing now. And now that I'm doing it, it's not a burden. It's a joy, facing all of my past aversions, the things that used to really scare me, from stepping, these things that used to scare me, they kept me from stepping into my power, into my bigness, into the powerful being that I am. And we're all these powerful divine beings. And I think we're going to start coming into more contact with those aspects of ourself, those true aspects with ourself, which will make it easier to identify the aspects that have been trying to keep us small, and everything that I was saying in the beginning of this video. And it's a really fun process. Once you start getting free and recognizing how you're getting so free, you just want to keep going. You're like, ooh, how can I get even more free? And then it's just the more fear you alchemize, the more presence you have. And then this presence, it just searches for more fear and more fear and more fear, because it's like you recognize the more fear that you gobble up and digest, the more presence you have, the more freedom you have, the more of who you really are starts to become available for you to live as. And you start wanting to live as a greater and greater being, a greater and greater inspiration, a greater and greater light. And you know the way to do that is to go and alchemize more and more of your fear, more and more of your unconscious trauma. And so that's what starts happening. And it's just a beautiful process, and it's so fun. It's just like, ooh, where can I, what can I meet next that needs my love and my presence within me? And yeah, so I wanted to add this as a part 2. Sending you all so much love here from beautiful Oregon. Namaste.